Hello everyone, this is the imperishable Sammy Zenith slash the Sammy Classic Sonic fan, and in this video I am excited to share a project that I've been working on with all of you called Dragon Ball Super Rewritten. So I have a lot of ideas for not only things I want to see in the future of Dragon Ball Super, but things that I wish, we could have seen. And that was the primary reason I made this project. So I hope you guys enjoy it. In this video, I'm going to be going through how I would have written the Battle of Gods and Resurrection F sagas of Dragon Ball Super. And in terms of where I'm at in the project, I'm currently almost finished rewriting the Tournament of Power saga. And I plan on going up to the Granola the Survivor saga. It's not a finished. That saga is not finished in the Dragon Ball Super manga yet, so depending on how quickly I make these videos, I probably won't get around to Granola Survivor until that arc in the manga is complete. And same thing with Dragon Ball Super Superhero. I want to wait until that comes out, of course. Which I'm assuming will be at around the same time Granola the Survivor is finished. So, that's convenient. Also, one thing I want to address is I know a lot of you are anxious for a video about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I promise that video will happen eventually. It's just, I was kind of excited to share this particular thing that I've been working on, but yes, I will talk about, my experience with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because it's been over a year since I became a fan of the series. So, yeah, please enjoy the video. So we start off with the Beerus Saga, or Battle of Gods in other words. There isn't honestly too much I'd change about this saga. The story did serve its purpose of being the kickoff for the rest of the series. Battle of Gods set up the divine powers that are the main focus of the rest of the series. It introduced a greater hierarchy of gods than what was established before, and revealed that there are 11 other universes. The only issues are in the Dragon Ball Super version of this saga, which suffers from inferior animation. However, this isn't necessarily the story's fault. I will say that also the anime version feels too drawn out, while the movie version had better pacing. Though a longer story for an anime format makes sense, I personally would have done away with the anime version altogether, since the movie version is the definitive way to experience Battle of Gods anyways. Dragon Ball Super didn't really add much to the original story, aside from the universal feat performed by Super Saiyan God Goku alongside Beerus. I think this was an important showcase of power because it tells the audience that we're now far beyond the old days of planet and solar system busting. However, this is one of the only examples in the whole of Dragon Ball Super of such immense destructive power. You could chalk it up to ki control, but that point is contradicted by the fact that Goku and Vegeta have fought many non-godly enemies in Dragon Ball Super, but somehow only managed to endanger the planet or even smaller amounts of space than that. Dragon Ball has always had inconsistent feats, such as Master Roshi destroying the moon, and then that level of power isn't seen again until Dragon Ball Z. Also, the main characters have been demonstrating speed surpassing light since early Dragon Ball Z, yet in Dragon Ball Super, moving faster than light is made out to be impressive through the likes of Dispo. Nonetheless, going forward, the way Super Saiyan God is handled after the Beerus saga will be an important factor in how I change Dragon Ball Super. Also, since Piccolo has become aware of the Namekian Book of Legends, I think this could have been a turning point for the character in terms of making him relevant power wise. He already has a divine background through his Kami half, and being a super Namekian enables him to grow stronger in ways that ordinary warrior Namekians can't. It's a shame that he's relegated to the sidelines just because he's not a Saiyan. And the only way for him to somewhat keep up nowadays is through Dragon Ball Super's power creep issue. Piccolo is as dedicated to training as Goku and Vegeta are, so I think he deserves a notable power up, and I'm not talking about Namekian fusion. He's already done that. It's not the only way to get stronger, and frankly, it's a cheap power boost that's always irrelevant in the long run. With that said, he'll be playing a much bigger role in my version of Dragon Ball Super. Moving on to the Golden Frieza Saga or Resurrection F. The Golden Frieza Saga in Dragon Ball Super is even worse than the show's Beerus Saga. The low points may not be as bad animation-wise, but it has less high points in that regard. As I said before, this doesn't dictate the quality of the story, but I will say that I prefer Battle of Gods as a whole over Resurrection F. Also, the animation gets considerably better after this saga. There are many things that could have been done to make this saga better, perhaps not to the degree of the Beerus saga, but still of a similar caliber. First, I would change Frieza's statement that he never trained a day in his life. Many people had a problem with Frieza catching up to Goku and Vegeta in 4 months of training, but I don't really have much of a problem with Frieza having so much potential. It's also weird how in Dragon Ball Z, Frieza already seems to understand how to fight and use powers like telekinesis and death beams. However, it was apparent that back then Frieza was a prodigy. It's not too far-fetched that he's inexperienced since he can't sense ki or suppress his energy. The reason I changed Frieza's statement, though, is because it allowed Dragon Ball Super to display how Frieza has improved not just strength-wise, but also tactically to rival Goku's martial arts skills. Since King Cold is absent from Resurrection F, it would have been neat to see flashbacks to him training Frieza. Perhaps Frieza remembering this while training in the present allows him to grow as a fighter by understanding what King Cold was trying to teach him. I don't think Frieza necessarily cares about Cold, but recalling his earlier training could be a way of ensuring that he'll never need Cold's help again. The next thing I change is how some of the side characters were handled in the story. For example, Gotenks is utterly wasted in Resurrection F, and how he's portrayed in this saga pretty much ruined him for the remainder of Dragon Ball Super. He shows up onto the battlefield and defuses almost instantly, proving that the 12 to 13-year-old Goten and Trunks really haven't matured at all in the 5 years since the Buu saga. Since Gotenks should be leagues above Togoma and Shisami in his Super Saiyan 3 form, I think he should have gotten the privilege of battling Frieza. It makes sense that Bulma and Chi-Chi wouldn't let Goten or Trunks fight until it's absolutely necessary, as in Gohan and Piccolo's lives being endangered. Although Frieza would definitely win, I think it would be beneficial to the story to let Goten and Trunks evolve from being comic relief characters by showing that they're taking the situation seriously and aren't acting like cowards. As for Gohan, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I don't have a problem with Gohan getting weaker as long as that plot thread pays off later. I believe it's perfectly acceptable for Gohan to prioritize his family and career over training. I still disagree, though, with how he's depicted to some degree. Even though Gohan dislikes fighting, I don't think he completely lacks interest in martial arts. The cycle of Gohan getting stronger and getting weaker after the saga is repetitive and annoying, so I'd appreciate a consistent direction for his character. Hopefully, Dragon Ball Super Superhero gives us that. What I would change about Gohan in Resurrection F is doing a better job of explaining just how he lost his potential unleashed form when he just pulled it off in the previous saga, which takes place only a year prior. Perhaps the reason could be that his potential unleashed state made no difference against Beerus, so his fighting spirit diminished afterwards. Whatever the reason, I think Gohan's power regression is a bit exaggerated due to poor writing. He's not confident if he can pull off Super Saiyan, even though he could go Super Saiyan just fine after not training for 7 years prior to the Buu saga. Instead, I think Gohan should say that he's afraid he lost the ability to go Super Saiyan after Elder Kai unlocked his potential. Considering Gohan in base outperformed Piccolo in this saga, I doubt Gohan got monumentally weaker. I think it's more likely that Potential Unleashed is an ability that needs to be constantly honed. Otherwise, since Gohan is a half Saiyan, he still needs his Super Saiyan to tap into his full power. Super Saiyan is more strenuous than Potential Unleashed, so it's only natural that he'd be weaker than he was at his prime in the Buu saga. This is somewhat backed up by Gohan comparing Togoma to his prime, although that's a vague line that could actually be referring to his current best. Anyways, I think Gohan mostly served his purpose in the Golden Frieza saga and didn't need a very important role since Goku and Vegeta are supposed to be the main characters. He took care of Frieza's top henchmen, Togoma and Shisami, with relative ease. What I would have definitely changed about Resurrection F, as particularly the anime version, was how Piccolo was handled. What I would have done is pretty much the opposite of what we ended up getting. I think Piccolo's sacrifice was very derivative of what happened in the Saiyan saga, except this time it was far less emotionally impactful. As I said earlier, I think Dragon Ball Super should have given Piccolo an opportunity to progress in a way similar to how Goku and Vegeta did. I don't think he should be training on Beerus's planet or have a Namekian God ability yet, but I think the story should definitely be sowing the seeds for that to eventually happen. Maybe before Frieza invades Earth, Piccolo was training in the hyperbolic time chamber and trying to understand God Ki in the same manner that Goku and Vegeta did. I believe Piccolo's experience as God of Earth priorly would make it possible for him to learn Ki control on his own. In ROF, while Piccolo can't use God Ki, he can still use a more refined version of his regular Ki to get much stronger. Then we'd get to see Piccolo with enhanced strength battle Frieza. Personally, I think Piccolo would force Frieza into his final form in this iteration of the story, if not his second or third form. Next up is Goku's battle with Frieza. An important thing I'd change has to do with the Super Saiyan God form, which harkens back to what I said earlier. We know that Goku absorbed the raw power of Super Saiyan God from the previous saga into his base form, which I think is an interesting idea. This level of power is called Saiyan Beyond God, which is something that's seemingly been forgotten in Dragon Ball Super. I think it's reasonable for Saiyan Beyond God not to be a different state of being so that Goku and Vegeta can continue to use their original Super Saiyan forms, which I like. Not only should that be more clearly explained in the show, but it should also affect how Super Saiyan God functions in this particular story. Since Goku and Vegeta should theoretically be able to transform into Super Saiyan God in Resurrection F, it's odd that they never used it. The in universe reason could be that Goku wanted to go all out, as he said to Frieza, but personally, I believe the introduction of Super Saiyan Blue was flawed. It happens suddenly, although at least it had some build up in the anime version. I also think it was introduced too early, as Super Saiyan God barely had time to be in the limelight. I would rather Dragon Ball Super have held off on the debut of Super Saiyan Blue and kept Super Saiyan God as the strongest form in the meantime. Basically, I would keep the idea of Saiyan Beyond God as a way of Goku and Vegeta getting grasp on divine energy, similar to how Piccolo is. Then they could have Super Saiyan God in their back pocket in order to truly access that realm of godly power. During this during his fight with Frieza, I wouldn't have Goku go all out against Golden Frieza from the start. He'd make use of his non-godly Super Saiyan forms to gauge Frieza's newfound strength. In fact, I think it would be cool if Resurrection F borrowed the idea of the Dragon Fist as a way of bringing Super Saiyan 3 into the movie. I should mention Goku did something reminiscent of it in the Beerus Saga, so that could be considered as a precursor to the Dragon Fist. I don't think Resurrection F would need Super Saiyan Blue to be special, as there'd already be a bunch of other things going for it. There's the introduction of Champa, the return of Captain Ginyu, Vegeta achieving Super Saiyan God on his own, and all the other stuff I discussed. As for the theoretical disparity in power between Super Saiyan God and Golden Frieza, I decrease that power disparity to soften Frieza's absurd power growth and maintain the integrity of the legendary Super Saiyan God form. Frieza surpassing Super Saiyan God would still be really impressive, especially considering the Saiyan Beyond God boost. Eventually, Frieza loses his advantage due to his new form's stamina drain, coupled with being injured from having underestimated the Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Fist. If anyone's wondering whether I'd keep in the plot device of Goku falling to a ray gun, the answer is yes, but I'd change the fact that it's a common ray gun. Instead, I'd change it so that it's a weapon specially designed to seriously harm people who are in a passive state, regardless of their power level. Even if it's a special weapon, this incident would still remind Goku to never lower his guard. It already helps that the anime's version of Golden Frieza altered the scene such that Goku was in base and not God or blue, so I'd prefer for it to stay that way. Finally, Vegeta's fight against Frieza would have ended differently. I'm okay with Whis reversing time to help Goku stop Frieza from destroying the planet because it gave us a glimpse of what angels are capable of. What I change is Goku getting to kill Frieza instead of Vegeta. I think it was a real shame that Vegeta was robbed of the chance to kill a major villain, especially Frieza, whose boot he was under for many years. What I'd rather Goku have done is teleport over to where Frieza and Vegeta are and use the God Bind, as in the power as in the paralyzing move that he used on Broly in Dragon Ball Super Broly to stun Frieza and allow Vegeta to finish the job. This way, Vegeta still gets the win and Earth's destruction is averted. So in the next video, I'll be covering the Tournament of Destroyers saga and the Future Trunks saga, or the Goku Black saga in other words. So please stay tuned for that. I hope you all enjoyed. And if you agree or disagree with these changes, let me know in the comments and let me know what you would have changed or if you would have kept it exactly the same. And be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe. Hello viewers, so thanks for watching all the way through, and as some of you know, I do something called End of Video Squad, where I answer questions for people who watched until the end of the video, and so basically if you comment with the hashtag End of Video Squad, I'll answer your question. So let's get to the first of these questions that I got on my previous video. This is from Nintendo Fan 64, and he asks, who do you main in Smash if you play? Yeah, I definitely play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I main as Young Link. Even though I have been practicing with Yoshi more lately, and Sonic, which I suppose that isn't surprising. Okay, McNibbler, who's a friend of mine, and he actually got married recently, so good for him, of course. And he's asking, Sammy, out of curiosity, what open world game are you most excited for next year? There are a bunch of really hype ones coming out, but I'm most excited for Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild 2, followed by Frontiers in that order. Yeah, I would say Breath of the Wild 2, but I haven't even completed Breath of the Wild 1 yet, so until I complete that, I'll probably have to hold off on Breath of the Wild 2. As for other open world games, believe it or not, I would say that I'm most excited for Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, because we've never gotten a full-fledged 3D platforming Kirby game yet. And I really like how there will be some open world elements. And then it would be that followed by Sonic Frontiers. Because while I am excited for that, naturally, since it's a Sonic game, there are, a few things that I'm a bit concerned about, as you might be aware of because of my previous video. So yeah, there you go. Moving on, we have Mooses, spelled with a 0. And they say, Sammy, where's Sammy Classic Sonic Fans Adventure 3? Yeah, so a lot of you are probably confused about that because I said in my Chatronic video that it was supposed to come out in June of last year, and of course June of last year was over 6 months ago. So basically the post-production stage has taken a lot longer than I expected or anyone else on my team expected, and the reason it's taking so long is because, I'm working on a team. I've never had to do that before, and I have to, sort of work around, people, other people's schedules, the guy who's editing it, and all the other people who are helping out with it. I can't really say when I think it's going to come out. About a month ago, I said I'm aiming to release it like sometime early this year, and right now it's early this year, so you know, it really just depends on a multitude of factors. But you know, it's uh definitely very much in the works. It's not canceled or anything. And I still want to finish it before I still want to release it before spring, because that's when I want to start working on the fourth one. Um, so hopefully that happens. Moving on from that, the last end of video squad question is from Kirby Super. That's the name of the commenter, and he says, or she says, whatever gender, says, what was your favorite video that you've ever made? My favorite video of all time that I've ever made is definitely Sammy Classic Sonic as Adventure. Or no, Sammy's Adventure 2. That was by far the most fun to make. But as far as like recent videos go, I would say Sammy's Adventure 3, but that isn't out yet, so I don't know if that counts. Ignoring that, I would say either Sammy's Bizarre Party, like the first video I did on this channel, or the Toy Story rants, or the intro that I made, if you want to count that, which I made to be sort of like an intro for my classic YouTube channel. So, yeah, those are probably my favorites. I also had a lot of fun making that one vlog video where I was rollerblading through downtown Indy. Anyways, you know, this was a long ending sequence, so I'm gonna end it here. Yeah, again, end of video squad if you want me to answer you on the next video. Take care.